Thank you so much for joining us, Tracy.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Um, Tell us a little bit about your dad and how would you describe him to somebody who has never met him?
Okay, so my dad always described himself as a poor boy from Spring Hill. um, but I would describe him as a father and a husband who wanted to be a family man. He
Mm.
would he would always share with us in elementary and middle school that he would get in trouble for daydreaming in class, and he would express to his teachers and to us as we got older that he would daydreaming about his one day future family. He always wanted to be
Wow.
married. He always wanted to have kids. He actually wanted a lot of kids. And my mom was like, no. But he just always wanted to be a family. And I know that he always wanted to be a family man. Like I can feel it. Like I've always felt it. He was always a safe parent. A lot of people, I've always been into shopping and fashion. And a lot of people think, little girls get that from their mother, but I actually got it from my dad.
Hmm.
He was very attentive to detail. Like he was very into detail. Like he would have cufflinks with his initials or embroidery on his shirts. So he just truly loved his family. He loved fashion, and he just never met a stranger. And he always loved older men. And he would
Hmm.
always tell me he was able to get his wisdom. Even in high school, his friends that I've spoken with would say he was always with the seniors as a freshman.
Wow.
We just never met a stranger.
That's awesome. You kind of segued into the next question because that one made me smile. But what is the memory about your dad that makes you smile?
His infectious laugh. My dad had a very distinct laugh that everybody talks about, especially at church. And it was one of those laughs that made you laugh.
Hmm.
Um, that and his just sense of style. Um, his demeanor was always calm. Some people took it as nonchalant, but he was just always calm, I guess, until he wasn't.
Hmm.
I guess if you took him there, I mean, he did have another side if you took him there, especially about his family, but he was just always calm. And like I said, his infectious laugh, like it almost seemed like he just never had a bad day. Even if he did, he wasn't going to stay upset about it. And that's one thing I've learned. Like give it 15 minutes and move on.
I know that was a huge, huge loss.
Yeah. Absolutely. It was. And I think because, and I don't know if it's easier when you're expecting it. I don't know. I don't know because I've been in that situation as well when my
Hmm.
best friend passed at 28 and I knew Jada was going to pass. And it was still hard, but to talk to somebody and have, plans the next day, it just I don't know. But I guess either way it's hard, whether it's
Hmm.
expected or unexpected.
It's still I know it feels very recent. So,
Yeah, tomorrow will be what 10 months. So it's still so fresh and it's still so and I just find myself still in that. I think for me just still in the shock.
hmm.
I'm still in that stage of shock. And I know grief definitely has phases and I've gone through them, but I'm still just nestled in the shock stage. Like, okay, no, like maybe he's just on vacation or he's coming back, or it just sometimes it just doesn't hit me. Um, and I have to keep myself busy. If I'm not sleeping, I have to be busy. I don't give myself time to sit because it is a very dark place.
Yeah, it's like you wake up in the morning, like I really cannot wrap my head around it. Like every day,
Yes, and that's when it
something
hits me
different.
in the morning.
Hmm.
Yes, every morning, every single morning since June 28th, that's when it's like, okay, like my dad is really not here.
Yeah. What is a way that he showed up for you in a way you won't forget?
Um, I can remember at 5, and I know a lot of people say you just don't remember things when you're that young, but I do. I remember him sitting on the bunk bed doing my hair, and my mom she had just turned 30,
Hmm.
and she was diagnosed with MS, and doctors they just didn't give her long. And I remember my dad crying, and it wasn't like a hard down crying, but I even asked, I was like, "Are you crying? Like, what's wrong?" And he was doing my hair, and I knew my mom was sick because she was no longer living with us. She was with my grandmother,
Mm.
and my dad had us. And he said, no matter what happens, we're going to get through. And I just remember my mom begging my dad, like after, she was, the doctors had given her 6 months and she surpassed that. And she like begged him to leave. And he was like, no, I've always wanted my kids, my family. And, my mom was a stay-at-home mom. She didn't want to be, but I guess she was kind of forced to be. So she stopped working, and my dad worked every day, and he came home every day and he cooked. And not only did he cook, I started ballet when I was 3 up until my freshman year at FAMU, and he took me, I guess, until I started driving. He went to work, came home, cooked, showered, and still took me to dance. And I mean, sometimes it'd be like 9 o'clock, and I was getting out, and my dad was out there waiting. Like he was always there. Like he was one of those people, and I often think about this. There was no, I'm not taking off work or I
Hmm.
can't because I have to work. No, it was my children have this and my wife has this and I'm off today. So it was never a missed open house. It was never a missed college move in or high school or middle school or whatever, because we were in a lot of extracurricular activities and he never missed one. And he worked full time.
That's amazing. It's like he manifested that life as a family
He
man, and that's what
did.
he really lived
He
for.
was truly a family man. Yeah, he lived up to what you're right. He manifested. Yeah.
How did your hair turn out?
Girl, I can't remember, and I don't even think I care. That day. I don't even think I care. And I think it was fine because my mom had already styled it. So he was just still twisting it and
Redoing it.
putting the bows on it and just brushing it. But he just, I don't know. I mean, because not that they're not men like that. I'm not saying that. But out of my friend group growing up, out of my cousins growing up, it was like he was the only one. And he took on my mom's youngest sister. He took on
Mhm.
her kids. So technically, he really always had 5 kids because my
Wow.
grandmother raised them. So he helped step in and be that, that male role. And it was 3 girls. Um, so it was like anytime we went somewhere trick or treating or whatever, they went too.
What's some ways that he still shows up for you now?
I dream about my dad a lot. Um, in every dream he's smiling, but recently, I guess about 3 or 4 months ago, I was at the park, and I was walking, and apparently I had run over a nail. And when I got back to my car, I didn't see that I had a flat tire, and I was like, oh my God, it was getting late and it was about to be dark. And I was like, oh my goodness, I knew AAA was going to take forever. I knew that, like they always do. And I was like, I don't know anybody on this side of town because either way, I was going to have to wait. So, what I was trying to do is try not to wait 2 to 3 hours. I just didn't want to be out. And so I was thinking, I was like, who do I know? And so I was just going through my phone. And one of the custodians, this was years ago, literally at my first school when I first
Mhm.
moved here. One of the custodians, I had his number and I called him because I remember I was like, I think he lives on this side of town. And so he came and I called him and I was like, I know it's late, whatever, whatever, but he was able to get there. And thankfully, the nail wasn't pierced all the way through. He was like, well, I can plug it and you can take it, this will get you home. You won't have to wait for roadside assistance. And so this is what he said, and I totally forgot about this when I back in 2019 when I had won Teacher of the Year, and they surprised me with my family, former coworkers, friends. Mr. Pickett's message in his speech was how he would always be here. He told my dad, no matter what, I got her. Like, I know you don't live here. You're here a lot. You visit a lot, but I got her. And he reminded me of that. And I was like, that is my dad still showing up for me,
Of course, of
still
course.
making sure I'm taken care of because he was a protector. No matter how old I got, my dad still protected me. So that was just a recent moment where it was like,
Hmm.
okay, I know he's my guardian angel. That's my dad. So
This June will be a year, and that will be somewhere around Father's Day. How do you plan to honor your dad this year? Have you not thought about it, or does it make you anxious?
I haven't. And honestly, I don't find myself even really celebrating holidays.
Mm,
I just don't. It's almost like another day. Because we were really big on holidays, always.
mm-hmm,
Holidays were always big growing up, even when we became older. And I think after my grandmother passed, my parents' home became the house where everyone would have events because my parents lived on a lot of land. You just have space. And so I don't put the time in it. I don't put the effort. It's almost like just another day. I haven't thought about it. I haven't. And I can tell my mom is the same way.
mm-hmm,
Christmas was always really big because they collect antiques. My parents have always been into collecting antiques. And so they have like a lot of black Santas in the attic. And she was like, no, I don't want any of that this year. So this,
mm-hmm.
Christmas, December 2025, she was like, no. So I can just see like it doesn't matter to her. It's almost just like it's just another day. And I don't know, maybe it'll change.
Right.
We went because this headstone came I guess about 4 months ago. And so we went and we planted a flower garden and we did the fencing around so we did do that. My mom really didn't want to have a say. Not that she didn't want to have a say. I just think it's still just so fresh. Like she
Mm-hmm,
still can't get out of the car, at
mm-hmm.
the graveyard. But I guess we just take it as it comes, like we did for his birthday. But no, I don't. Christmas, Thanksgiving, none of that. We didn't really celebrate it like we normally would.
Understandable. With it being so soon, what has life been like for you after the goodbye?
I did have a lot of anxiety um at first, and I still do some days, but I find myself like the day that my dad passed, I had to find something to clean. Like I had to find something to organize. Like I could not sit. I find and then when I try to, because I'm like, okay, I feel like I'm gonna have a nervous breakdown because I'm just moving, moving, moving,
Mm-hmm,
moving. I mean, there are days where I realized like, okay, I didn't even eat. Like when was the last time I've eaten, or when was the last, and when you're moving like that, you're trying to keep just keeping busy
mm-hmm.
and just I don't want to think about it. I can't face it. Um, and so I still find myself there.
Just
And that's
keeping
why I
yourself
had to go
busy.
back to work. Yeah, I have to keep busy. I have to walk. And I've always been an outdoorsy person though. I love hiking. My dad was outdoorsy, like he never really liked staying inside. So walking has helped. It has definitely helped. I actually love being in the sun.
Mm-hmm,
Um, I do struggle in winter and colder months, even before this, but it was much
mm-hmm,
worse. Um, but yeah, just keeping busy. And one thing I want to do, my dad always kept a camera in his hand. Like, I mean, throwaway cameras. I mean, of course, back in the 90s, you always had a disposable camera. And he stayed in Walgreens probably every weekend.
mm-hmm.
Probably every weekend. So we have a lot of pictures and videos. And I find myself doing the same thing. Like I've had like 20,000 pictures on one phone.
Wow.
Yeah, and like right now it's 11,000 when I looked at it earlier. And so that is just a project that I want to start,
Mm.
getting those photos printed out. Um, and just adding to the photo albums he created.
That sounds like a great way to honor him and to carry on his legacy. Thank
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think just passing it down to his grandkids, especially Milani, she was really close to him. That's the
you.
middle, that's the 7-year old. Um, and just things for her as well. because we made shirts on Saturday. And she was like, "Who is that? Is that my dad on the shirt?" And it was actually my dad when he was a 5-year-old.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so and just it's just pictures that she's never seen. I think it was pictures that I've never seen
Hmm.
of him. Like I found my baby book. I had never seen my baby book.
Really?
I had never seen I didn't know I had one, but I had never I mean he saved everything. Like my first baptism or christening, I was a few weeks old, like I still have the dress or just everything, all my Easter dresses and Christmas dresses. My dad didn't throw anything away. And so you do grow up to figure
Hmm.
out who the hoarder was. Because I used to think it was my mom, and it was not. My dad saved everything.
It's funny how you go through things afterwards, and there may be pictures that you kind of ran across over the years, but you didn't pay attention to them, and then they
Right.
become like more meaningful after that.
Yes, absolutely. So that is just one of the projects that I'll be working on for a while.
You're so creative. I know you'll find something
Thank you.
interesting to do with it.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing the story of your dad with us. You know, you are always in my prayers.
You as well. And I thank you for having me.
Of course.